Jim, we have some news from the newsroom that we like to get out to folks immediately here in Cypress Creek. This is from Hays County. Cypress Creek, from the Blanco River to Wood Creek, need to evacuate immediately due to the quickly rising water. Now, they have emergency shelters set up at the Wimberley Community Center. So in Hays County, we are noticing that the Blanco River is rising very quickly. We've had almost, 12, 13 inches of rain reported, well, unofficially reported, and definitely coming in on our radar estimated totals. So again, folks from Cypress Creek, from the Blanco River to Wood Creek, need to evacuate immediately as shelter is being established at the Wimberley Community Center. And if any more news from that department comes in, of course, we'll keep you updated. Now, we've seen what we call the training of these storms across Hays County for quite a while now, and it's been some heavy rain. Just to the south, though, where the storms have been developing for quite some time near San Antonio, if you notice in the last couple of frames on Viper radar, we are starting to see a little bit of weakening, but still the heavy rain is falling in so many communities. If we can get some rainfall estimates from our radar up there, we've come in at 12, 13 inches in some locations. Again, not official, but still, these are impressive amounts that have come down since the rain began. And we've had multiple road closures that have come our way from county officials. I know in Kyle, we've had some reports that roads that normally don't flood were flooded out. So even areas that you normally don't see water on, if you have been around for a while in the area and you know that a road around your home, oh, well, this normally floods, so I'm used to this. Well, there's going to be some roads out there that aren't prone to it, that could be water covered. So there may not be any barricades up just yet on those roadways or any flashing lights because it's not a low water crossing. So that means you have to be very cautious as you're driving around. With the rain still coming down, it's very hard to see with it splashing off your windshield, and then with it being nighttime, it's hard to see the water anyway on the road in front of you, Jim, as you get out and about this morning. So we're urging folks to stay in if you can. If you have to be out this morning, very cautious on the roads.
Excellent advice, Mark, and we can't reiterate this enough, what Mark said just a moment ago. This is breaking news out of Hays County. Cypress Creek, residents along Cypress Creek from Blanco, the river. Sally, come over here and just tell me what...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jim. Okay, so you were talking about that area right there, and Mark was talking about how Cypress Creek in that area, the residents are being evacuated, and we've learned that they're going over to an emergency center, the shelter that's been established at the Wimberley Community Center, and that's at 14068 Ranch Road 12. So, Jim, if you live in that area of Cypress Creek, you have to go to the emergency shelter that's being set up right now. And once again, that's at Wimberley Community Center, 14068 Ranch Road 12. These are evacuations that are happening now. So they have not knocked on your door yet. They will be. Okay,
Sally, thank you very much for that. This is very important information, folks. This is potentially life-saving information. Folks often hesitate to follow evacuation orders, but we have seen in the past a history of flooding down here in this same area. We are going to get some information for you in just a minute about some historical flooding that's taken place down in this area that I want to refer back to. But for the immediate future, it is important that everyone that lives down in this area, and by the way, you're looking at Doppler estimated rainfall totals. We don't have rain gauge confirmation of 15.6-inch totals, for example, but we do have a viewer rain gauge that has registered 13 inches. The National Weather Service says, based on what their analysis is of the radar data, they think these may be pretty close to what's actually fallen down here into this area. So we thought we had a big rain up in Travis County earlier, and indeed we did, with numerous problems around the city, but that almost pales in comparison to what may be going on down here right now, we believe, in southwestern parts of Hays County. We've had a viewer report that water was coming into their home. They couldn't shop back it out fast enough because of the rapid runoff from this extremely torrential rainfall that has trained across the area and may have brought as much as 15 inches of rain. Again, the viewer rain gauge 13 inches, and other rain gauge reports we've had down here are at least 9 or 10 inches. So I think we're erring here on the side of heavy, but certainly we have seen significant and flood-producing rainfall. And as Sally just mentioned, the most important thing for you to know right now is that Cypress Creek residents, if you live on Cypress Creek from the Blanco River down here, Cypress Creek from the Blanco River to Wood Creek, evacuate immediately due to the rapidly rising water. And as Sally said, again, that emergency shelter is at the Wimberley Community Center. You folks that live down there probably know exactly where that is, at the Wimberley Community Center, 14068 Ranch Road 12. This is very important. As you evacuate, however, it is important also to remember that whatever your means of evacuation may be, could be problematic. If you come across a road where there is water flowing across the road and you're attempting to get to this community center on Ranch Road 12, do not attempt to cross that road. If your means of getting to higher ground include you staying where you are because you're up above the lower roadway, then stay put. Get to the hill nearby, even if it's, raining on you at the time. That's better than getting down there and getting your car into even a foot and a half of water, which could float the car and wash it away. But I suspect that we're going to have much more significant flooding on low water crossings down here in southwest Hays County that are going to present much, much larger dangers for you. So we encourage you to follow the evacuation orders, as Sally said, to the Wimberley Community Center. But there's a possibility that some of you in these areas that might be trying to get there might have to go across a low water crossing. Don't make your top priority getting to that community center so you can get some shelter, so much so that you attempt to go through a low water crossing. First and foremost, your top priority has to be not endangering your life by driving your car into an area where water is flowing across the roadway. Keep that priority number one this morning if you are in one of these areas that need to be evacuated down in the Wimberley area, okay? The saying, turn around, don't drown, never applies more than it does right now in this type of situation. A situation unlike any we've seen in 3 years since a tropical storm that moved up called Hermine and dumped some widespread 12, 13, 14, 15-inch rainfall totals. We haven't seen anything like this since then. And so there are going to be people that live down here, maybe lived down here for 3 years or longer, that weren't affected by Hermine, that are seeing things they haven't seen before. They're seeing water over roadways that have never flooded before. Well, this may be the time that it actually is flooding, and it's so dangerous at night. It's so dangerous after dark that we want you to just, if you have to be in an automobile to go somewhere else, drive much more slowly than you even think you need to be driving in order to be certain that you're not driving down into a flooded low water crossing. Out here in Hays County, in western Travis County, there's so many low water crossings. The hill country essentially begins at I-35 west. In the city of Austin alone, there are 300 low water crossings. I don't know the number down in Hays County, but I know there are a lot of them, especially out in rural Hays County. So if we want to impart one single thing to you tonight that you really listen to and you really take to heart, it is this, that most flash flood fatalities occur in cars. People think, well, my car weighs a ton, a half a ton, it'll get through this that much water. That's not a big deal. The weight that is displaced by your car driving through just that much water will actually float it like a boat. But then it won't stay floated like a boat. It will be swept downstream, turned upside down, and people that are in floated cars, very seldom is there a good outcome. So if there's one thing, again, that we can impart to you this early morning hour, during this early morning hour when it's still dark outside, is that it is extremely dangerous at night to be in a car and to drive across a flooded low water crossing, okay?